Hey kids, we're back online. This live streaming was not working just moments ago. It's working again. Well, I fixed it. I don't want to get into it. But yeah, some people who don't know what they're doing are doing something here with the network, and despite common sense, whatever. All right. So let's get busy here. I have this guitar on the workbench. It's a Martin D-35 from 1977. A 20th century guitar. How does that sound? Sounds old. Yeah. It's got some issues. So we are going to do a couple of things. First, I need to remove the pickguard. Second, I need to do a 3D scan because I need to document the guitar before the services. Okay? Because we are going to do a complete overhaul. I am going to rebuild the guitar. This is going to be a long project over the course of several months. I do have one person watching. This is perhaps the owner of the guitar. Hello, whoever you are. Yeah, so I already sent a text message to the owner. So I think he is probably watching. Just in case. It's up and running. All right. So this way, you know, because he was waiting for this live stream to start. Okay, so let's have a look at the guitar first. This is it. It's a Martin from 1977 D-35. I think it's been refretted because I see that the frets are flat, not radiused, but we have a slight radius on the fingerboard, and I believe it's probably been refretted by someone who didn't have this tool. Where is my tool? Okay, because here we have all the tools, but sometimes people don't have all the tools and they still sell guitar services. So, first things first, I already loosened the strings. I'm going to remove the strings. They are quite old, and then we're going to remove the pickguard first, or attempt to remove it, and then I'll do a 3D scan. How about that? Okay, string removal. I already loosened the strings. Oh, I can just pull the pins out. So I can't tell you right now if the guitar is going to need a lot of, well, it's going to need a lot of work, but it might need more work than anticipated. So for sure it's going to need new bridge pins. So this tells me that there could be bridge plate damage. So like I said, we don't know what the old guitars need until we fully examine them. But when the bridge pins are like this and you can barely pull them out, it might require a new bridge plate or patching up the bridge plate or something. We don't know. So I can't tell you just now, just yet. I'm looking for something. I don't know what it's called. This thing, okay? To remove the bridge pins. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I think we're going to need to patch this bridge plate. I'll show you. I mean, I'll show you to document everything and also to educate people who are watching. But I do need to document it for sure. So when we see this, I just got to get the camera in focus. Is this in focus? What is it, autofocus? Okay, so let's do this and focus. Okay, so what do I see here? I see that this part of the string is sticking out. So when it sticks out this much, it indicates that the ball end of the string, which is this, is kind of like too far up, closer to the surface of the bridge than it should be. You see? On this one also kind of. It was bent here, and here even more. So this is why I can't pull the pin out, and this is why this pin was bent like this, because I think that the ball end of the string is buried into a part of the bridge plate that's been damaged. So how are we going to deal with this? Well, in this case, I will not be pulling the pins out this way. I will cut the strings, and I will push the string down first, and then pull the pin out, and then pull out the string, you see? Okay, so that was the only way to remove them, and you can see they're all bent. So we also need to examine the bridge plate. There's no way that we're going to reuse these bridge pins for sure. So I'm just going to put them in the case. They are the original bridge pins. I like to say, keep them. Someday they'll be worthless. So, but they are the original ones. Yeah, I don't throw away things that people might want to keep, right? Or whatever. There's a sentimental value to this guitar to begin with, so we're just going to keep everything except the strings. Okay. We do have a fracture, so this is why we need to remove the pickguard, because the pickguard shrunk and fractured the soundboard. So let's document this. Here we see it. This is the soundboard fracture. So these pickguards are made out of some kind of plastic that keeps off-gassing. And as it keeps off-gassing, it shrinks, just like a sponge that dries up. And it's glued to the soundboard, and they are known to shrink the soundboard and to cause fractures like this. So this is kind of like normal with old Martin guitars. So since we're going to be scanning the soundboard, and we're going to be doing a full rebuild of the guitar, we want to remove this pickguard, and that way also when we scan the soundboard, you know, we scan this area as well, right? So I'm not going to force anything. I just want to see how much of the pickguard comes off without heat. I can see here that it's coming off easily, at least here, as it's buckling. I might want to capture this reflection on camera here. Again, just to document everything that I'm doing. So you can see how it's, you know, buckling up. But I'm not going to force it. I believe that I am going to heat it up with a heat gun. I'm going to have to do that. Well, it's coming off easily. Look at that. So maybe I won't have to. I have a peak under the Pickguard. It's not removing any of the wood fibers at this point. So since it's coming off easily, I'm just going to continue like this for now. And you can see this, how the reflection changes between this kind of like lighter one and the darker one over here. So that's, you know, because the, you know, the surface is changing shape, right? Now you can see it. So you can remove these with an iron, but you got to make sure you don't damage the finish. That's one of the reasons why I want to avoid heat if I can avoid it. I can also use a heat gun, but again, heat can cause other issues. So if I can remove this Pickguard without any heat, even better. Let's see. So I just had a peak underneath. It's coming off. So perhaps I don't think I'll need to use the heat gun. So since I am not seeing any damage to the wood fibers, I'm not digging into the surface of the soundboard. As I push the palette knife in this direction, I'm going to continue in this direction. Because if I try from here, if the wood fibers, if there's like a wood runoff going this way, then I might be digging into the wood. But I don't think there's runoff because both sides of the soundboard look the same in terms of shade. So but anyway, this is going well. So I'm just going to continue doing it this way. This is the kind of thing that you kind of need to use your best judgment. And if you've done it before, you kind of know what to expect in terms of how much force to use, etc. Now, I do need to be extra careful around here where we have this fracture for obvious reasons. Let me just refocus the camera. So here, I hope I don't dig into the wood, right? Which means I'm gonna come from this direction. Oops, I heard something pop. It released some glue. So I heard a little pop. And again, you see how it's buckling up like that. Just a little more. And here, I think it is picking up a little bit of the wood. So, but I think that was already like that before. Which means maybe I want to attack it from here, carefully. Okay, so let's have a look. Yeah, so there's an additional fracture right there, as it was what I was expecting to see. I would like to show it on camera if I can. Now this additional fracture is under the pickguard, so at the end it'll be covered because we are going to install a new pickguard anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. But I do want to document the fracture. You can see it right there, the additional fracture. So we don't want to dig into the soundboard there. We want to continue like that, right? And so I just made a mental note of where it is. And now I'm going to continue like this. So very careful here. I wonder if I should use a feeler gauge. Maybe this one's a little too thin. And if we do end up removing part of the soundboard, we can remove that little splinter from the back of the pickguard and re-glue it when we do the repair. I mean, it's just one of those things. We must remove the pickguard, so we don't have a choice here. We do what needs to be done. Okay, so let me look here again. I think I'm going to end up ripping a little bit of the soundboard, but like I said, it's repairable. Oh, and I just noticed the binding is coming off here as well. You can see this here. So again, it's typical for Martin. Why did it come off? Well, this is at the waist of the guitar, so this is also off-gassing and shrinking. So we'll deal with this at some later time, right? Now, we just want to remove the pickguard. Yeah. I think I need to continue like this. Oh, we're almost there. Okay, look at that. Minimal tear out. That's good. So this is so minimal, I'm not going to be removing this from the pickguard to re-glue it. But we did have a little bit of a situation with the runoff, and that's what I was telling you, that the runoff is going in this direction, right? Which is evident now. So I was doing this well in this direction. So this, imagine a cat or a dog with short hairs. You can pet the dog in this direction, but if you try to pet in this direction, you know, the hair is pointing in this direction. So if you have a runoff like this and you are attempting to remove it in this direction, you might end up digging into the soundboard. That's what I was talking about before, right? So it felt good going this way, and that's why I wanted to continue going this way. But anyway, this isn't bad. I am going to re-glue it back, and it's all going to be covered because we're going to put a new pickguard there. Now we do have this fracture to deal with, and now we can almost deal with it. Now we have a gap. You can see the gap, and that's because the entire guitar is dried up. So if I remove this camera, actually, why don't I put it away? This is why we'll do a 3D scan right now, because that way we document the topography of the soundboard and the fingerboard and everything. So we have something archival to compare it with at a later time. Okay. All right, so let's see. Like I said, the soundboard is collapsed from dryness. And dryness contributed to this crack. So if you look at the soundboard, and if I take a straight edge like this, so this was worse when the strings were on. When the customer was here, we had a big gap here. Now we released the strings. So when the strings were on, this bridge was pulling the back a little bit and pushing the front. So we had a big gap here with the strings on. And now we still have a collapsed soundboard, but we still have actually a little bit of a soundboard deflection, right? So when we rehumidify the guitar, the soundboard is going to go up this way. Not this much, right? But up this way, which means the bridge will be higher up, which means the strings are going to be higher up. And that's why we are most likely going to have to do a neck reset. I'm almost 100% certain that we'll have to do that. All right, so now I basically just want to clean up the guitar a little bit and prep it for a 3D scan and then do a 3D scan. That's that. That's the old pick. We are not going to reglue the old pickguard. We'll make a new pickguard that's going to match this. But like I said, I don't want to throw anything vintage away. So this pickguard goes, it'll go inside the case. I will protect it later. I'll put some kind of cardboard. Or like that is fine, actually. There's nothing inside this anyway to damage the pickguard. So okay, so I need to prep the guitar for a 3D scan. So that's what I'm about to do. And then we'll scan it. So with an archival 3D scan, we basically capture the guitar the way it is now. Sometimes we want to do it with full string tension. Now I'm not really concerned about that, and that's because we're going to end up doing so much work to this guitar that It doesn't really matter. So the guitar has quite a severe up bow on the neck. It doesn't have an adjustable truss rod because it's from 1977. I think Martin started using adjustable truss rods in 1986, I think. Really late. Because, you know, Martin, they like to do things their own way. So I guess they were stuck in the old ways until someone came to their senses and said, no, we also need to have adjustable truss rod in our guitars because every other guitar manufacturer does it. But do we want to examine? Yeah, I think before I do the 3D scan, let's examine the inside of the guitar. Okay, Dr. Bob Perron says, boy, you got lucky with that Pickguard. Yes, I did. Yeah, I got lucky with a Pickguard. Yeah. So this is how I'll do it. This is a light. I will put it inside the guitar. I have a lot of bone grit on my workbench from, you know, the grinder. I was fabricating some guitar nuts lately. So we are going to do a guitar endoscopy. So that we can look at the bridge plate. It's going to connect to my phone. All right. And I will point the camera to this, and then you will see what I see. Let me just set it up for you. I'm always confused about the direction. Like that, I guess. And where's that button? Okay. Let me show you what I'm doing. First of all, I'll put a light on the inside. And while we're at it, we are also going to examine the braces. There's a lot of dust in the guitar. Okay. Okay. I guess that's good. So you can see this is on the inside. And I have a camera here, so that's the camera you're just looking at. And now I'm going to point that camera to my phone. And then you will see what I see. Perhaps I do this so I can see it from here. Okay. I see some dust inside of the inside of the guitar. This is what we see on the inside of the guitar. Okay, and now I move the endoscope. So let's just do a quick exam. Like this. I think we need more light, right? There. So which camera is not in focus? Okay, this one is in focus. This is the end block. I am looking at the braces now. And we see part of the bridge plate there. But first I want to see the braces. All right, so now this endoscope actually has two cameras. So now here, when I push this button, it's going to switch to the side camera. And I can see a problem already. So this is an unglued brace, but that's where we have that fracture. So this is not a surprise, okay? So when we repair this pickguard issue, I also need to re-glue this brace, okay? So this is right next to the sound hole. So here I am pinching it, and that's where it is. So it's from this side. So the brace is going this way. So this portion of the brace needs to be re-glued. Okay, let's continue. And here we have the bridge plate. So these holes have been enlarged over time. There's a couple of ways to fix that. We'll talk about that when the time comes. But for now, I just wanted to document what we see. Because, you know, when we do like an overhaul, repair of a guitar, it makes no sense to fix some things and leave other things, you know, not fixed. You fix everything. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to put my light source there. Just to see if there are any gaps between the braces and the soundboard. It's a bit overexposed here. Okay, so let me change the light. Okay. I think that's good. What about this? I don't really like the way this looks. I see that dark gap. Oh no, that's not a gap. That's just glue squeeze out. So I need to throw some light there. So again, I'm putting the light in a different spot. Okay, that's not a gap. That's not a gap. That's glue squeeze out and shadows. I think we're good here. Now we want to also examine this part of the X-brace. So the X braces are going this way and this way. Now here I can even see them, and in fact a good test is to use a feeler gauge and see if you can fit it between the brace and the soundboard. So just a thin feeler gauge. So here we know that this brace is loose. Normally I have to remove my watch, you know, so I don't damage the sound hole, but I'm careful. I'm basically just double checking everything at this point. It's all good, I think, yeah, except this one brace here. Okay, so that's that. Now we can put this away and prepare the camera, the guitar for a 3D scan, which I'm about to do. I'm about to prepare it, and I'm also about to scan it. So that's it. That's the endoscope. I will put a link to this in the description, which is an Amazon affiliate link, which pays me a small commission at no extra cost to you if you buy it through the link. Doctor's link is large. How's it going, man? Good. How are you? Just give me a moment. Yeah, so I'm putting a link to this endoscope. I had to buy a few before I settled on this one. So if you want to buy one, this one works for me. It's not the best. It's not even expensive. It works. Okay, so let's prepare the guitar for a 3D scan, and then let's scan it. So I have these, I call them rails, whatever you want to call them, that I made. They have these markers on them. That's for the 3D scanner, tracking markers they're called. For the 3D scanner to track everything, okay? So for the neck, I use these rails. And for the soundboard, I have a whole bunch of markers here. So they are self-adhesive, but I just took two of them and just glued them together. So now I can just lay them flat, and then it's easy to remove them. Now, they should not move during the scanning procedure, right? That's the idea. So I'm just going to put a whole bunch of them. They come in two different sizes. So the more markers, I think, the better scan, I guess, or the more stable tracking. And I just kind of, use my own judgment, how many I put where they should be. Like I said, they come in two different sizes. This is an ebony bridge, so it's dark. And it's an ebony fingerboard, so it's dark. So I might need to adjust the exposures during the scan. In fact, I know I will have to. I guess I'll use all of them. Yeah, why not? Maybe put this one here. I think this looks good. I think so. All right, so now let me put this chair away. Now you see I'm running a humidifier. I have two humidifiers here. Another one is here. This one is an evaporative type humidifier, and this one is cool mist. I don't keep the cool mist humidifier inside the shop. I used to, but it did cause some issues on the workbench when I was not here at night. It can over-humidify a smaller area, so I had some issues with that. So I'm only running it outside, and I did talk to the customer about humidifying this guitar once it's all done, and he will buy a humidifier. A sound hole humidifier, which is one of those with a sponge on the inside. Okay, so here is the 3D scanner. And I am going to set this up in a way that will be visually interesting for you, so that you can see my screen over there as I'm scanning. Eventually, I'm going to buy a separate camera to go there. So now I just need to use this camera for now. Okay, like that. All right. Okay, let me get mentally ready here. Let me see the number. Okay, Martin D-35. Yeah, I know that. Okay. So what we have there is this. So now if I show you this, you can see this, right? I'm here, and you can see that screen. But you will see the image being scanned on that screen as I'm scanning it. All right? So, and I think I can actually get a better frame if I zoom out a little bit and tilt it down, so you can also see the entire guitar at the same time. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, we don't need the microscope light. Let me turn on the scanner. Okay. So now I need to do something here. I need to open a new project for the scanner. By the way, I do have a collaborator, Dr. Kevin. So he's a retired scientist. He was a research scientist for Boeing. And together we are putting together some kind of software for 3D scanning, specifically for guitars. Now, when I say that we are putting it together, full disclosure, I don't know how to code. I'm just doing the part of requesting features and beta testing and consulting. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for. I'm consulting him. But it's an amazing piece of software already, which I can't show just yet. We're going to show it when it's ready. It's not ready yet, although it's working. we're still finessing it, right? Okay, so here I'm going to continue. I am going to lose my connection to the internet. And here we only have 4 viewers now left. That's too bad because this is the interesting part of the live stream. So those of you who left, who can no longer hear me, well, it sucks for you. You're not going to see this. But this is the part that was worth waiting for. Okay, so I'm going to lose my internet connection in terms of I won't be able to see you. But you'll be able to continue watching this live stream. Okay, now I'm connected to the scanner, and I lost my internet connection from the computer, but my switcher is still streaming. Okay, and I need to set up a new project. Okay, now the application is seeing the scanner, because I'm using it wireless, right? New project. We name it. And something else here. Ooh, what did I quit? I wanted to quit something. I hope I didn't quit. Hold on. I have too many apps open. Sorry. 77 Martin. D-35. 35 dry. That's how I'm going to call it. Okay. Let's see if we can put 1977. We can. Okay. And high resolution. And here I click scan. And now I point the scanner in that direction for now. Let me see. Okay. So okay, that's it. Here we now have, hold on. This is what I want to do. Okay, yeah. And now you are seeing me, right? And this. And we are scanning the guitar. It's happening. You see it right there on screen as I'm scanning it. Now it's going to turn from pink to green. When it's green, it means that it's a complete scan. Since the fingerboard is dark, I'm going to have to tweak the exposure. So let's scan the body of the guitar first. Like that. I'm scanning. You can see the laser cross lines shooting. And let me see if I show you. Oh, this isn't working. Hold on. Okay. I think now you're seeing it from above. Yeah, because this isn't working because I'm no longer connected to the internet. But here you can see this, and now you can see the image from the computer screen, right? So I like to capture the entire guitar first, but just so I see where it is in 3D space and then go over everything to do a full capture, which means it turns green. Although, you know, the frets are already green. That's kind of probably all we need. And the nut to turn green. I can see that the fingerboard is also turning green. I don't like to adjust the exposure. If I can keep it like this, I think we get a better resolution this way. Here we can see on the vertical column, we need to keep it at best distance, the scanner distance from the object that we're scanning. And the tracking is holding up because I do have a lot of these markers. So that's a good thing. I'm not scanning this at the highest possible resolution because we don't need it, right? I really want to capture the topography of the soundboard here. The frets are kind of irrelevant, to be honest with you, because we are going to refret this guitar. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. So what are we doing? So the neck has a severe up bow, and there's no adjustable truss rest. So this will be an interesting project. We are going to be doing a compression refret. So there's one company that sells, Jescar, sells fret wire in different tang sizes. So the tang is the part of the fret wire that goes inside of the fingerboard, inside of the fret slot. And they have a special set for Martin guitars of compression fret wire that you can buy in different tang widths. So when you want the neck to just kind of, when you want to adjust it back into, you know, away from it being bent like a banana, you do a compression refret. You basically insert the frets really tight, so they will not exactly throw the neck into a back bow, but that they will correct the up bow. Okay, so you won't have a severe up bow, and hopefully you end up with a proper relief. Okay, so we're making progress here. This is good. I want to continue this a little bit until everything turns green. Now, I thought I was going to have to change the exposure for the bridge, but you can see the bridge is already green. So I was wrong. But surprisingly, this is still pink. All right, so we are getting there. So I don't want to scan the entire guitar. In other words, I don't want to really scan the sides of the guitar. We don't need that. We want to keep the file small. I mean, it's still going to be a massive file, but we don't need to scan parts of the guitar that are not relevant to what it is that we are documenting and doing. Now, why don't I talk about this sign that's there, GTG, Guitar Technicians Guild. Well, that's an idea that I'm developing. So I would like to develop a guitar technician's guild, and the guild would have a cloud database for, you know, guitars that are serviced by guild certified technicians, and you could put all the specs, all the history, service history of the guitar, kind of like Carfax for cars, including 3D scans and you know, pictures, or let's say if a technician does a neck reset, that will be documented, who did it, when, if a technician does a bridge reglue, for example, what kind of glue was used, or brace repairs or whatever, you know, with pictures, everything documented. So each guitar would have a history. And that's, especially for vintage guitars, quite a good thing to have. I think it would increase the value of vintage guitars, because we know that all guitars need to be serviced, right? So who did the service? Well, I guess if it was done by a Guitar Technician Guild's technician, certified, and everything was documented, I think that would probably keep the value up, or maybe even raise the value of a guitar. Instead of, you know, oh, it was done, we don't know what was done, when, if it was done, and that sort of thing. Okay, this is where it's at right now. It's interesting how we see those lines where the pickguard was. I don't know. Now it's also scanning the inside of the guitar, the back of the guitar, through the sound hole. But we are going to delete that from the scan. Again, we don't need that information. I think we're almost done here. Now, normally I would want to make sure that the frets are fully scanned, but here I think it's irrelevant. I can stop the scan now, because we're going to remove the frets. Okay. So let me step over this wire cable. And now, what do we have here? So we are looking at this. So this is a 3D scan. And I am going to click here and click yes. And now it is processing, as you can see. So this part is quick. And then I'm going to clean up this image right here for you. So there are no strings, so this will make the cleanup quicker than if there were strings, like that. So it turns red and I delete. And now I delete the entire workbench from here. Okay, before I delete, I want to make sure that that's all I'm going to be deleting. So I look at the guitar. So it's the workbench, and it's also the back of the guitar that we scanned through the sound hole, right? Now delete. Boom. Zoom in a little bit. Oh, I didn't mean to do this, so now I have to make sure it's not selected. And here I'm going to clean up this rail. So select it. Boom. There's a small part here that's left. Boom. We don't need any other headstock. Again, we try to reduce the file size. Let's zoom in a little bit on this nut. We don't need this. So the more we delete, the better. We reduce the file size and also kind of increase the resolution of how it's going to render it. Okay, here. Yeah, I think, is there something else left? So I click the reset button. Just kind of look at the scan. I think we're good, right? Maybe this. Let's see. We don't want to delete this, so I'm going to deselect this area. Hold on. Always check before you delete, right? Okay, so delete that red spot. Okay, and once again, reset. And now we are going to set up these values, high resolution. We're going to leave this like that and remove markers. You see this? So we do want to remove the markers. So that's that. And now we click this and it's processing. And this processing takes a few minutes. So while it's doing that, let me reconnect to the internet. Or should we just continue processing? I don't know. Let's continue. All right. Well, while it's processing, perhaps I can do this. Hold on. So we need to remove all the markers from the guitar. I'm going to do that as it's processing. So I have my app, which doesn't always cooperate. So we don't need these anymore. And we have all of the markers that I put on the guitar that we want to remove, right? So I used to use them as stickers as intended, right? But now I just do this instead. You can see the removal process is much faster. Because the removal process used to take a few minutes, and now it takes probably under a minute. That's it, and I'm done. So we scan the guitar. Like I said, these frets are not radiused, but the fingerboard is radiused. And that's why I think that the guitar was probably refretted at some point. I'd like to kind of document this if I can. And maybe I can with this microscope. At least maybe one or two of the frets. I'm not sure if the camera can see it. So I do these live streams also to document all the work that that I'm doing, and this is part of documenting it. Oh yeah, I think you'll be able to see this very well. You can see how the frets are flat, but there's a radius on the fingerboard, and that's just how it is. Here, if I change focus, up and down the fingerboard, you can see that. So it's really bad here. One complaint was that the string is getting stuck under the frets, and no surprise there, since we have this gap, right? And we have this gap because the frets are flat, but the fingerboard is radiused. Yeah, so I guess I don't even need this. But the thing is that I see that the thing is still processing. So we have a few minutes left. So maybe I try to capture this with this microscope as well. Okay, so here we're looking at a fret end. This is the first fret, actually. You can clearly see there's a gap. You can see the fret wear, like that. Now let's just inspect the second fret. So yes, so as I'm looking at this, I can see that there was a fret, a previous fret was seated on the binding, and this one is not seated. So this also confirms that this was a refret, okay? And it's the same on the other side. You can see that. So there was a fret there before that was seated on the binding. I can see steel wool particles there. I think that's steel wool. We can confirm this with a magnet. Let's see, that's a magnet. Yeah, you see how it picked it up? So I don't use steel wool on my workbench, but a lot of technicians do. That's not steel wool. And I have these magnets to remove steel wool from guitars that I service. It's not too bad. There's not too much steel wool on this guitar, but we did see some. Okay. I just don't want it to end up on my workbench, because then I contaminate the pickups of other customers' guitars. All right. So that was the 3D microscope. It shows, it can rotate around the object. Okay, and now I can see that this is now cleaned up, processed, rendered. So we need to clean up a little bit more here. That's sometimes what happens when you process the scan. So let's do that. We'll start with this one here. We have this noise, generated noise. Now the fingerboard is easy because it's a straight line. Like that. A little more. Boom. Okay, that's that. So this is called a point cloud. All right, and now, and you can see that the markers have been, for most part, deleted. I mean, you can still kind of see them. And now we're going to generate a mesh. So first, let's set up the values all the way. And then we click hole filling. No, we don't want to fill the holes. And then we click this, and it's processing. Okay? And it takes less time to process a mesh. So there's a difference between a point cloud. A point cloud is, you know, just points in a cloud. That's why it's called a point cloud. And a mesh is like a solid surface. So the points are connected always with like 3 points are always connected, so you end up with little triangles, and it's a solid surface, right? And this is it now. This is the mesh. How do you know? Well, here you can see right here. It says mesh, right? And you have the eye here, and those eyes are closed. So here, if we open this eye, now we're looking at the point cloud. And if we open this eye here, now we're looking at the original scan. So now we actually have 3 versions of this. That's that. Let me reconnect my Wi-Fi, my internet, and I can turn off the scanner. So, friends, I think this wraps it up for now. I am going to rehumidify this guitar. So what I will do is, well, I'll clean the guitar just a little bit, and I am going to rehumidify it first without any jacks on the inside. So sometimes you need to jack it up, like you can use this scissor jack, or you can use brace jacks, which I have here, these things, okay, to kind of force it into the correct shape. But we have plenty of time to work on this guitar, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do like a natural rehumidification first, see if this crack closes up, and we are going to repair this first before we do any fret work or anything. I think that's, well, you know, to be honest, I might change my mind, I don't know, but this is where it's at right now. Okay, friends, so that's that. I'm going to wrap it up now. So we've been streaming for 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 5 seconds. Okay. But we got a lot of work done. Okay, this was all necessary. And yeah, so I will say goodbye now, and hope to see you soon. I won't be live streaming tonight anymore. I don't think so. It's already 9 o'clock. I got a whole bunch of other work to do that does not require live stream. So I need to work on those other guitars. Okay, kids, good night.